Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Fuck of Widowhood. I want to talk to you a little bit about today. I want to talk to you about something that is affecting all of us in one way or another. We're in the midst of the holidays, and at the best of times, even before widowhood, the holidays can evoke all kinds of emotions and feelings. We like to think that it's going to be the storybook affair, and bells are going to ring and new angels are going to be created and gifts and presents and caroling and happy. But it's also a time when, under those ordinary circumstances, families gather and people with different personalities gather, and it can kind of end up being what I like to call a clusterfuck. So you add in the fact that you might be grieving and all the components of grief, and it gets to be even more so. So I want to talk about that a little bit. In my life, Chuck and I didn't really celebrate the holidays very much once the kids left home. It just didn't matter too much to us. We aren't, it wasn't about the birth of Jesus for us, so, there wasn't a religious aspect to it. And we long ago decided that we much would rather create memories rather than exchange gifts. So especially once he and I started traveling, that's what we did. We created memories between us. We'd find something we wanted to do, places we wanted to go, just being with one another and celebrating that way. If we were with our kids, of course, we would join in with their celebrations, but the real meaning for us kind of just disappeared a long time ago. And it's all about the spirit of the season anyways, isn't it? Connecting with those we love and connecting with people who are just newly come into our lives and just having the spirit of love. So the holidays, though, just think about it for a minute. I know everybody is in the midst of it and running around, and there's so much to do. So let me tell you what I think about traditions and feeling the pressures of having to uphold and live out and continue traditions. After someone we love dies, first of all, there's oftentimes a real lack of energy that comes along afterwards. The energy level that we had beforehand just isn't there anymore. Grief is a physical thing as well as an emotional and spiritual. And there's so much going on that we have to adjust to, that it takes so much energy anyways. And then if you feel like you have to do holidays and you have family coming over and you have to keep doing things the way that you always did, or if people expect you to keep on doing things the way that you did, I just hope that you can kind of tell them in a very nice tone of voice, diplomatically, if you need to, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. I choose this year not to. And sometimes the decision is made for us because we just have that lack of energy. We have that lack of interest. We just don't care anymore. It's all just too overwhelming, and we don't have the emotional or mental energy to put forth. And it is perfectly okay. I want you to know that it is perfectly okay to not do the holidays. If you have people coming over, then you can tell them, you know what, let's go out to eat dinner instead, or let's go out and take a walk together. Let's go out and do something else. But you don't have to have a tree. You don't have to do a big meal. You don't have to do any of that, and it is okay. And I think that is such an important piece of it for us, because there's a sense of obligation oftentimes. And you might want to continue doing everything. It might evoke the memories for you that are necessary for you to get through the holidays. And remember your husband that way. Remember your wife that way. Well, this is what he wanted to do. This is what she wanted to do. So go ahead and do that if you want to. It's if you don't want to, you don't have to. There is no have-tos when it comes to the holidays under any circumstances, certainly not when you have gone through and when you're grieving, when you've gone through a death and when you're grieving. So try to relax a little bit for yourself and with others, and just let them know this year we're changing things up. And I suppose, if you have small kids, sometimes there's more of a sense that, okay, I need to put the energy forth. I need to at least insert myself there and pretend. And I did that in my time, way back in 1996 when my brother and my mom died so closely together. They died 6 months apart. And I really did not have the energy or interest for the holidays, but I had small kids. So I put on the face, and sometimes you have to put on the face. And that's okay too. I put on the face, and we got through it all, and we celebrated and did all of that, and it did suck the energy from me. And so I really had to make sure that I did some self-care. And I was fortunate because that's when I had a husband to back me up. I had their dad to back me up. And, obviously when you're widowed, there's nobody to back you up in that anymore and to help you shore up your energy and to take part of the responsibility from you. So you just do the best you can with it. But mostly I just want to say to all of you, just only do what you need to do. Only do what you feel like you want to do. And the biggest thing, we all know it, the biggest thing is the spirit and the love that we bring to those around us. And if you're accustomed to getting a big tree, get a small tree, get a tabletop tree, do a Charlie Brown tree. Go out to eat. You don't have to make a big meal. Go to the movies, do whatever you want. I remember back in our family, we used to, you do the whole thing Christmas morning and exchanging the gifts. And then my kids would laugh at this. We started going to the movies in the afternoon. Thank goodness for movies. And so we'd all go to the theater, and the kids were old enough to drive. And so sometimes they'd take their own cars, and we'd think, okay, this is going to be a real family thing. So this is a big family Christmas thing. We're going to make a memory and all that. Well, we get to the theater, and maybe not everybody wanted to see the same movie, which was oftentimes the case because, we all have different tastes in movies. So sometimes Chuck and I would go to one, and maybe our daughter would come with us, and our two boys would go and see another movie, or different variations. And so in one year, we ended up all going to see a different movie. So it was actually kind of funny, and that ended up being one of our memories of the holidays. Oh, remember the year. We wanted to do all that family togetherness, but we didn't want to see the same movie, so we all ended up going to see a different one. And that just kind of, I laugh back when I laugh when I think to it now, and the kids do too. We're all so determined to make it all perfect and to do that Martha Stewart thing. And really, it's when things mess up, I think that the best memories come out of that, and how you change it, because you said, there's no frickin' way that I can do the holidays this year like I've done them every other year. And I'm not even talking the first holiday after the death. I'm talking any year afterwards. This is going to be my fourth Christmas without Chuck. And I'm with my son and my daughter-in-law right now, and I'll be with them for the holidays. And it's hard. It's hard. Even though Christmas didn't mean a whole lot to me and Chuck, everything is still out there. Everything is still happening. All the energy is out there of everybody going and doing their thing, which is wonderful. And I'm so glad for them. But it just does make it harder emotionally. And so I'm just kind of gliding through them, maybe not gliding very gracefully sometimes. I'm trying to be aware of the emotions that come up in me and the sadness. And I miss him so desperately every day, but you see all the families together at the holidays, and if you're with your kids or if you're with family, it's wonderful, and I'm so appreciative of it, and thank God I have it, and many people don't. They don't have the loving support that I have. So it's good that I have that, but it's not the same relationship, and it doesn't take the place of. It just doesn't. My person isn't here. And my person isn't here to treat me with all the love and the helping me feel special, like I always did when I was with Chuck. So it changes things up. It really does. And so just fucking acknowledge it, right? You just have to acknowledge it and let that be also. Just be honest with ourselves and honest with each other as best you can be. And it may not always be received well. And then it's okay if you just give people permission to go away from you and just have some time to yourself. Just do what you need to do for the holidays, and don't feel like you have to be pressured into doing something that you just don't have the energy or interest for. Fake it where you need to, but stand back where you need to also. And here is my one thing, before I sign off, here's my one thing that is a stress buster that you can join me in doing. And, acknowledging it all, the difficulties of the holiday season and everything going on around you. You know what? Just for 1 second, as you're listening to this or when you're done listening to it, just clench your fists as hard as you can and tighten up your body and just pull all the energy up from the bottom of your feet all the way up through your legs and your torso and your heart, and feel all the blood rush, and clench your fists as hard as you can and just say, fuck! And let that linger in the air for a minute, and then let all the energy dissipate. I have found the word fuck to be one of the most helpful words ever in widowhood. And it describes everything. It's what the fuck, it's whatever it might be. And I suppose through the holidays, we can just add a kind of a merry fuck to it. But anyways, I'm not going to wish you a Merry Christmas or a Happy Holidays. I'm going to wish you that you be surrounded by love, that you remember and hold on to the love that your person left behind for you. Just hold on to that, because even if you can't feel it, you have the memory of it the same way I do. Chuck left an awful lot of love behind for me, and I hang on to that every day. It's like, who was it? Charlton Heston said something about guns. You can have it when you pry it out of my cold, dead hands. That's how strongly I hold on to the love that Chuck left behind for me. It is clenched in my fist. It is through every part of my body, and I refuse to let it be anything else. So you just hold on to that love that your person left behind for you, and you let it take you through the holidays in whatever way that you need to let it take you through the holidays, doing or not doing. You just be whatever you need to be, and you don't need anybody's permission to be that way. All right? And I will catch up with you again. I'm just sending so much love out to all of you. And I thank you again for listening to this second episode of The Fuck of Widowhood. And I'll see you again soon.